So I was super excited this week when I busted open my podcast app and I saw Abdullah the Butcher on Is Jericho. Of course, he was on the show this week talking with Chris because he's trying to raise some money for his GoFundMe. He is involved in a legal battle currently where he is being sued by an indie wrestler who claims that Abdullah cut him on purpose and by doing so had given him Hep C. Of course, Abdullah completely denies all of this. I don't know either way. I don't really have a dog in that fight, but it was fun to hear him take a walk down memory lane with Chris Jericho and talk about some of the bigger highlights in his wrestling career, one of which was working with Hulk Hogan, which Abdullah had the opportunity to do several times. And there was a point in time where Abdullah was contacted about possibly coming into the WWF to work with Hulk Hogan on top, back when Hogan was slaying monsters. Check out this clip.
Did you ever have any talks with Vince McMahon to come into the WWF?
Well, let me tell you something. I met his father.
Yeah.
And I was in Japan, and he was in Japan, and he said, Abdullah, I hear a lot about you. Hulk Hogan wants to wrestle you in New York. And you'd only have to wrestle him. And Hogan told me the same thing. Abdullah, you just be working with me. Well, anyways, when it came time up, they said, they asked some of the guys, what do you think about Abdullah coming into the thing? Oh, he's going to use the fork. He's going to do this, like that. And that was it. I never seen it, but he wanted to bring me in.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see that Abdullah actually had worked with Hulk Hogan in the past. You know, when I was a kid, I always did look at Abdullah as a fucking... He scared the shit out of me. I think I first discovered him in WCW when he was working with Cactus Jack, and he did the electric chair gimmick and all of that. And Abdullah, and Chris talked about this on the podcast, that Abdullah legitimately scared fans and made them think that he was some wild serial killer or something. I truly believed this as a kid. There are few wrestlers that terrify the fuck out of me still to this day. And Abdullah the Butcher is one of them, even though I know that he's a sweetheart of a man. I've seen plenty of interviews with him and all of that. But when you look at his in-ring performance, and isn't it always the case? Because, you know, Stan Hansen was a sweetheart of a man too. But that motherfucker will kill you in the ring. So, and I was surprised because Abdullah's always been so uptight about opening up about the business, right? He comes from the old school generation where you kayfabe everything. And I was very surprised to see that he had worked with Hulk Hogan in the past. I always thought he was just a fucking murderer. I'm shocked that Hogan would even agree to a match with him. And you see, and there's pictures out there of Hogan just bleeding all over the place from Abdullah. If Hogan would have been able to bring Abdullah the Butcher into the WWF at the time in the 80s when he was on his fucking monster run as the champion and he was just beating all of these monster heels, he would have had a great little run there. He would have been able to come in, make a huge chunk of money, and he eventually would have put Hulk Hogan over, of course, and then Hulk would have moved on to the next. He could have did that without doing the fork. He doesn't need the fork to be a fucking effective monster heel. He just looks like a savage. He looks like a monster. He looks like a tall task for our American hero Hulk Hogan to defeat. And I think they would have done killer money. They really would have. I don't know that Butcher would have been somebody that would have been good to keep around for the long term, but just somebody to rotate in, work a program with Hulk, and then rotate back out. You know, Bruiser Brody was another guy that Hulk was wanting to bring in and work with in the WWF that could have made huge money in the 80s. I'm glad that Abdullah the Butcher has been able to get the recognition in life that he deserves for the career that he's had, because he really is one of the greatest professional wrestling stars of all time. When you make your list of like top 100 guys in the business, and we're not talking workability or anything like that, but Abdullah drew huge money everywhere that he went. He was a star that everybody wanted to bring into their territory because fans feared the fuck out of Abdullah. He was believable. And if you took your top baby face and you put him in the ring with Abdullah and you put him in jeopardy and you make people think that that man is in danger of losing his life, Abdullah's got the fork out, he's carving away at your favorite baby face's head, that shit is brutal and it sells tickets. Abdullah was one of the biggest stars in professional wrestling history. He spent no time in the WWE. I'm glad he was able to at least be put in the WWE Hall of Fame, get that recognition. It's sad to hear now that he's broke, that he's having a hard time paying his bills. It's sad to hear that he's being sued. I don't know much about the case. I don't know either way. So I don't really want to say I feel bad for him because I just don't know. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say that he, you know, just because he says that he didn't do it on purpose or cut the guy or give him Hep C doesn't mean that he didn't. The courts will decide all that, but it is sad to see that, you know, of everything that he's been able to accomplish in his career and all the success that he's had, that he's going to end up winding down the end of his days kind of broke and in courts and that sort of thing. It's just, I hate to see that shit. I like the success stories. I like to see the guys that were huge stars in the business and were able to do something with that going forward. You know, I think he had a wrestling school at one point. I know he had a restaurant. So, I mean, he was able to parlay his wrestling career into other businesses. It's just sad to hear that he's in the situation that he's in now. But I'll certainly continue to follow as well. You know, if anything comes of this court case, one way or another, I think it'd be interesting to kind of follow up on and just kind of see how this whole thing plays out. Could go either way. Best of luck to Abby, and you know, I hope he's able to kind of end his life with some dignity and some money in his pocket, and I hope everything turns out okay for him one way or another.
Oh yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. Yeah, and you can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on the channel. Oh yeah, dig it.